Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Director's Garage Live Hump Day Happy Hour Hangout here in, well, we're in the drenched city of Los Angeles. I mean, it couldn't be. We were washed away this week, man. Oh my. How y'all doing, man? I was out. I actually had to shovel mud this week. It was so bad. Our street, like the hill came down and I had to get out there with the shovel and clean up. I mean, it was a mess. It was a hot mess around here. God. Crazy. I was going to try and send some photos to my laptop, but it's not working. I don't know. There's some kind of new iPhone, so it's not all communicating with everything as freely as one would hope. Some things from this week. I was going to show you, well, let's just make sure we're looking all right, because I'm looking dark on my thing, and that sometimes means bad things. Sometimes it means good things. You just never know. We'll take a look real quick. Check in on our... I can't have you guys looking at me like I'm, where'd he go? Where'd he go? View channel, and then we just go live, and let's just take a look. Billy Joel has been like on my mind this week because we first of all, he came out with that new record, that new song last week, and then skip the ad. Guys, YouTube. Oh boy, we are dark. Goodness me. You're like, where'd he go? Where'd he go? Well, I'm right here, guys. I just got to give myself a little boost. How's that? Is that better? Is that better? Anything? Bueller? Yeah, that'll do. Okay. Billy Joel came out with a new song last week. It's called Turn the Lights Back On. If you guys saw the Grammys, he performed it on the Grammys. And I had listened to it prior. I listened to it the day it was released. Cheers, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Glad you could make it. Halfway home. Got the bags under my eyes. You can see it was Grammy week. Haven't gotten anything done on the show on the next episode. Talk about that in a second. Heard the song, and I just it's a really good song that is this close to a great song. Can you please put a bridge? It's Billy Joel. He had an album called The Bridge. Where's the bridge in the song? Perfect spot for it. Goes A, B, solo, and then he goes back to the A verse. And had he just dropped a bridge in there, something that soared a little bit, and then dropped the song back down to that A verse, it would have been a beautiful, perfect song. But we don't get a bridge because it's 2024, and he works with he's working with a modern songwriter who doesn't understand that bridges make songs. Interesting. But it is a good song. It is a good song, and his voice is phenomenal. But I got to meet him on the carpet, and unfortunately, this connection between my phone and my computer isn't working. So I'll try to, maybe I can do it. How could I possibly do this? Well, I could just hold it up, I guess. Done. X. So this is, there's Billy Joel. He was talking to me. There's proof. All the Grammy people right here. All of them right here. It was quite a night, but it was really cool. It was really cool. And by the way, Tommy V says the sun's out. Well, it's ducking and we're going to get more rain. We're getting one more blast before this thing's all done. But at our house, we got 12 inches of rain in about 24 hours. I have 12 inches of rain in 24 hours. It was colossal. It was unbelievable. The streets were rivers. The hill came down in part of it. I mean, it was a mess. It was a hot mess here. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, and other than that, you know, I mean, it's been, and Holly's right here, right now. You'll see his tail or his head pop up, I'm sure, at some point during the proceedings today. He's just kind of resting, going, what are you doing, man? Stop it. But I've had shoots every day. It's been a very busy week. I haven't even touched the next episode. I can tell you there's going to be two unboxings in one episode, and that's going to be the next show. But I got to shoot it. I'm probably going to shoot it on Friday, the way things... Why is this still... I turned all these things off. Stop, you. It's going to be on Friday that I'm probably going to shoot, and then I'll cut over the weekend, and hopefully by Tuesday y'all will have the next episode. But this weekend, if you are into it, this weekend is our next Patreon Hangover Hangout on Saturday, 9:30 in the morning Pacific. You can go to my Patreon link down below. I'm dropping the requirement to get into just $3, down from a normal $5 monthly subscription. I dropped it down to $3 to get in the Hangout, and it doesn't say, just if you subscribe for any amount for $3, you're in. I'll send you the link. That's it. I just need to put some sort of paywall there, or we get a lot of, like, you know, people don't all like me. Is that a thing? Did you guys know that? Not everybody likes me. So if I don't put a paywall there of some sort, some little speed bump, everybody who hates me will get in, and they'll just disrupt the entire meeting. And it's a fun meetup. It's Zoom, so we're talking back and forth. I can see you, you can see me. You can hold up your headphones, you can show us around your listening space, or do nothing and just sit there and take it in. Whatever you want to do. I try to keep everybody involved and keep it interesting. I've got some guests coming on Saturday, I hope. Some folks are saying they're going to try and make it. That would be really cool, and I think y'all get something out of it. I try to make sure every one of these things has takeaway from it, and it's a good time. It's just a hangout. So if you're into it, the Patreon link's below. Just go over there, and then I'll send out the link on Thursday of this week, and I send a reminder just before we do it. Saturday morning, 9:30 Pacific. So that's my public service announcement to you all for that. I don't have a ton of stuff. I have been so busy with work this week, and work has to take priority because I don't do this for a living. Pardon me, I just made myself joke. This is just fun. This is just for fun. And, you know, I don't make money off of this channel. In fact, I lose money on the channel, and this is just I have to pay for this hobby somehow, and or I guess it's something of a business. It's a losing money business, but I have to pay for this somehow, so I have to work. So work has to always come first, because it greases the whole system, the whole chain here. So that when work gets busy like it is right now, and we are in the middle of award season, and I was lucky enough to get an episode out a week and a half ago, and this week or a week ago, and this week's just shot. There's just no way. So we'll try and get it done for next week, and if we do, we do, and if we don't, well, we don't. Hey, I was listening to that's the Elite, the Meze Elite today, by the way. For those of you who keep score of those kind of things, what else can I tell you? I don't have any. In conversations with Zach this week, we're going to try and get together on some stuff. Ryan, I talked to Ryan this week. Ryan's in the chat. We'll go start getting into the chat in a second. I don't have a lot of like busy news. Normally I have like some items to discuss, and I probably put them on the page, and I should look at the page because it'll remind me what I wanted to talk about today. I got something to talk about. I do have something to talk about. Oh, and we're live. We're live over here. We're live over there. I don't need two lives. Just chewing bandwidth. talked to Ryan this week. Ryan may send me something else to check out. That's a possibility coming up. But what I'm doing, you guys know, I've routinely told you how I do obits. A lot. I write a lot of obits, not for people who are dead, for people who are still alive. And this week's was Keith Richards. I've been working on that. And Keith Richards, I'm a big fan of Keith Richards. And, you know, I'm doing a deep dive into all things Keith. And I stumbled across a documentary on Apple called 1971. And I think that bits of this documentary series have appeared in other formats. For instance, there's a documentary about the Stones relating to the Keith Richards thing. And it was called Stones in Exile. And it was about how they had all of these tax problems in England. And so, pardon me burping. In 1971, they moved the whole well, I think they had done a couple of albums over there, to be fair, but they moved the entire operation, their entire recording operation, to France. Now, one of the things that the Stones invented, this is one of the two things that I think are most notable in the Stones' career, besides all the great music, and you know that's just a given. But the two notable inventions were the Super Tour. They really perfected and invented modern touring, and that's I think one of the things that they did. And then the big stadium tour, and then the other thing is mobile recording. The Stones wanted to record in different places for various reasons, like Texas. So they outfitted a semi-truck with a recording studio equipment so they could pull this semi up to a house and record in the house. And the Rolling Stones mobile recording unit was used by Led Zeppelin. It was used by tons and tons of bands over the years. And Ronnie Lane eventually came out with one, but that was one of their greatest gifts to music production. It was phenomenal. So anyway, in 71, they needed to produce an album to pay taxes and sort of get on top of their tax problem that they were having in England. So they went to France before getting in trouble in England, and they moved, they set up a recording studio in the basement of the chateau where Keith Richards was living with his girlfriend. And the idea was to record a record in the basement, and then they could just live in the house, and they could all be there and have this creative environment to write music. The problem is when they got there, one of the locals found heroin dealers in town. And they started shoving heroin through Keith Richards' place, and Keith being into heroin at the time, everybody who was there, including the engineers, Andy Jones, all talked about how they were all doing heroin. Everybody was doing heroin. And they would just fall asleep at the mics sometimes. And finally, it came to a head because the thugs who were selling them the dope bust in and stole all their guitars and stole Bobby Key's saxophone, and made off with them. And then the police kind of clamped down, and they were eventually they were just going to get raided and arrested. And in France, it's not like the States. In the States, you get arrested, you can post bail. In France, you're in jail until your arraignment and trial. They lock you up. So facing that, they all got on an airplane and flew to Los Angeles, bringing with them the stoned out drug tapes that they had recorded at Keith's estate. And realized that it wasn't recorded very well there because it was in a basement, and they worked on those tapes in Los Angeles at Sunset Sound, a famous recording studio on Sunset Boulevard, and they produced what became Exile on Main Street, and we all know Exile on Main Street. While it was critically accepted well, it became known as one of the all-time greatest albums. It routinely is in the top 3 or 4 all-time greatest albums of all time. But that's what happened with that. So I'm watching this documentary, 1971, and it's got bits of that Stones in Exile, but it's in the context of everything else that was going on in the country at the time. The politics that were going on in the U.S. and the U.K., the Who and Sly and the Family Stone, and the deaths of Jim Morrison and Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix all happened in 71. Like this big upheaval in society. The women's movement was taking off. The black rights movement was in full swing, and how the music played into our society at that time. There were protests on the state over the Vietnam War, which is still going on, and 4 kids got shot dead, and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Neil Young wrote Ohio, that haunting anthem about 4 kids getting shot on the Ohio State University campus. Or Kent State campus. It was crazy. It was a crazy time, but it talks about how it was the transitional year in music. And you remember all the great music. Can't believe the great music that came out in 1971. It really was absolutely a pivotal year. Even Elton John said you could go to the record store and pick 10 albums from that year, and every one of them would be a classic today, like is considered a classic. Just amazing stuff. Okay, so let's jump into the chat with my 2 stories for today. I wanted to tell that story. If you have Apple TV, check out 1971. It's like a 10-part documentary, and each documentary takes a little slice of that year or some faction of that year or an issue. So really cool. IMJ says, howdy, Michael. It's definitely fun SoCal weather we've got here, if you want to call it that. I'm still sore today, but whatever was going on with my shoulder, it got a workout on Monday when I was lifting shovels full of solid mud and moving it to the side of the road. Neil Snyder says it's pouring rain in San Francisco area, cold, rainy, recovering from his sex change operation. Well, congrats on all counts, my friend. Alanata says, oh, nice, finally made it here while you're live. Well, we're still live. Haven't gotten killed by a monsoon yet. Guys, I'm telling you, the struggle was real this week. Hi all, Wayne Hine. Cheers, Wayne Hine. Hipster Cow, howdy gentlemen. C-Dub says, too bright. I'm really too bright? Is my phone too bright? Oh, it looks a little bright. Okay, well, now I got to take it down. Damn, boys, I'm sorry I'm disappointing you. I'm sorry I'm disappointing you guys. That's uncalled for and embarrassing. I'm known for better production than this. Let's see. Let's go live. Hopefully that fixed things. Okay. Anyway, sorry I'm too bright. Many people who know me don't tell me anything about being too bright for them. It's the opposite. Too dumb. Or dimwit. The sun is out. Hey, I'm Michael. Hi, do you guys have solar power? No. I have looked at solar power 8 ways to Sunday. I can't figure out how to make it make sense. Every time I've figured out how much power I need, it looks like a $36,000 to $38,000 expenditure, and it's going to take years of electric bills to even break even. And that's provided they keep working, and with the maintenance costs and all that, I'm like, I can't figure out how to make that equation work. My mom's, where she's living, they've got a subsidized thing where they can make it work financially, have it make sense. But even that solar power is not going to matter this week. So it's probably moot. But I try to look at things financially. If I can make it work financially, then it makes sense. Of course, I'm the one who's saying make it work financially is the one who stupidly spends money on gear that will never hold its money. N8 says, good evening from New York, everyone. What's up, Mike? Well, I got a sound panel up there. I need more. But that's going to be another $1,000 to $2,000, and I'm like, I've got other things to spend money on around the house right now. Mice on wheel generator. Yes, I actually have a propane or gasoline powered generator that can power the house, and we did take some power hits during the storm. No outage though. It was the most we had was about a 10-second power down, but all of my critical gear here is on battery reserve. I've got a power supply that automatically jumps it to battery, and you have about a half an hour to shut everything off. So like I don't, even if I'm working on a project on video, I can at least save what I'm doing and shut the computer off and wait for the power to come back on. And it won't lose any of my work. So that's good. Howdy, Ace of Spades. Howdy. Minnie Pearl. Anybody know Minnie Pearl? Anybody remember Minnie Pearl? Hee-haw, folks. Hee-haw. And all of this is going right over some of you guys' heads. Never heard of hee-haw. Roy Clark. IMJ says he doesn't think he's been able to, won't get there for the next Hangover Hangout. Well, I hope you can, IMJ, but if you can, it is a great time, like you say. You got stuff with your kids, hey, do stuff with your kids. Family is irreplaceable. So, or at least not cheaply replaceable, depending on, the situation. Ryan Dietz, cheers. Cheers, Ryan Dietz. Ryan in the house. The mod house. Any good Grammy stories? Well, like I said, I met Billy Joel. I was hoping to transfer a bunch of photos over to the laptop, but Saturday I finally got rid of... Guys, I had an iPhone 11. So it was like 5 years old. And this is if I understand how all of it works, how all the pieces fit together with Apple, this was going to be the last year I could update and get monetary credit for my old phone. They won't pay you out for the iPhone 10 anymore. And the iPhone 16 is about 4 months away. So it was or 5 months away. But so it was either do it now. It was just time. It was time to replace the phone. So I got this new phone, but it's not talking to my car properly. It's not talking to my laptop properly. It's just not talking to anything properly yet. So I don't know. Maybe I need software updates. Who knows? I did update my OS this week, but that came without any consequences, thank God. Grammy stories. Did I run in? A lot of times I have talent in front who are interviewing, and I'm just running the interviews and making sure that they have the right questions on cards for them to read out and go through that. And I prep an iPad with like emergency stuff, like if they if I need to show them, hey, don't forget to ask about this, I can hold it up and they can just glance and read it on an iPad. But I do, at the beginning of the day, I get to do some of the interviews myself because the talent's not there yet. So I did interview Lainey Wilson myself, and she was very charming. She is the country singer from Yellowstone, who, like, most famously, like, the way you would know her is that she's the one that they have on Yellowstone all the time, the TV series. And she was just charming. Lovely girl, really fun. But for me, the juice of the day was seeing Billy Joel, because I hadn't interviewed him before. He typically stays to the East Coast when he's doing anything promotion wise, so he's not out here all that much. And he did live here for a while. I don't know, did I tell this story before? He wrote the first album, Cold Spring Harbor, and then thought he would come out to LA to make it big. And he got out here and he did Piano Man, and I think I told this, I did tell this story. I told the story last week, but they cut his song down. They cut Piano Man down on him and made it a 3-minute, 5-second song. And that got him disillusioned. And then he went back to New York and hooked up with Phil Ramone and did that amazing run of albums, The Stranger, 52nd Street, Glass Houses, Nylon Curtain, and then what's the most famous one? The one that the pop one, not the famous one, but the pop one that he got all the hits on. Innocent Man. He did that one. And then that thing sort of soured. The next album didn't do so well. I think it was The Bridge that didn't do so well. And then he changed everything up for The Storm, and that didn't do well either. So there you go. But yeah, he was. So anyway, he was out here for a while, but I mean, that was in the 70s, and everybody was on drugs back then, guys. Everybody. Ryan in the house. Yes. Wayne says he's going to try to get up at 4:30 here and do the Hangout. Wayne, please do. I'll try to make it worth your while. I hope the guests that say they're going to come wind up showing up. It'll be a lot of fun. I can't guarantee because people are people and they have things to do and things get busy and they can't make it. But I did make the effort to try and book some folks for this one that you all might want to talk to. Or get a kick out of talking to or seeing or hear them talk. Ryan sent him out double-sided with wild, different left and right grills. Go crazy! Send the invoice to me. No hurry at all. I may have to run them off my Enlium as opposed to his HM1 due to his hearing loss. Neil is asking Ryan to send him double-sided, wild, different left and right grills. It's way back there, and I don't feel like jumping back there. But my Mod House Tungsten invoice of no hurry at all. Everybody wants Ryan's headphones, and I think that's a testament to how great those headphones are. And it's great to be needed. It's great to be needed and wanted. So for a product. Anyway, happy hour. Yeah, it's a happy hour, boys. Cheers. Cheers on everything. I'm drinking water today. I'm just dehydrated from the week. And last night was the Bob Marley premiere in Los Angeles. Y'all remember I went to Jamaica. You guys know I went to Jamaica to do the premiere of One Love, which is coming out, I think, Valentine's Day. It comes out February 14th. So last night was the premiere in Hollywood, or it was in Westwood, of that. And look who I ran into. Oh, let's just see if I can show this. Does this work? That's Stevie Wonder. We interviewed Stevie Wonder last night. Thrill of a lifetime. He told us a story about how he, and this will be on tonight's show, tonight's Entertainment Tonight, if you're interested. Told us a story of how he once played a concert with Bob Marley in 1975. He flew to Jamaica the night after recording. He was in a recording studio the night before, flew to Jamaica, did the concert with Bob, and the experience, they played I Shot the Sheriff and Superstition together on stage. And he took that experience with him and was thinking about that and wrote the song Master Blaster, Jammin', about Bob, or about that experience, and always had the dream of one day performing again with Bob so they could play that song live together, except Bob tragically passed away from cancer before they got a chance to do that. He said the spirits had other plans for Bob, and it was well put. It was an interesting way to put it. Hipster Cow says his Black Ice Fusion F360 preamplifier just arrived. He's very excited to play with that this weekend. I don't know what the Black Ice Fusion was. Wait. Can we look that up? Let's look that up and show it off. This is what we're talking about. Hang on. Black Ice Fusion. What's the number? What's the number? F360. 360. Let's look. There it is. Black Ice Audio tube preamp. Look at this. Oh, boys. Oh, boys. We got some audio porn for you. Audio porn incoming. Courtesy of Hipster Cow. All right, here we go. Hang on. Where's the MacBook Pro? And here we go. This is what he bought. He bought this guy. Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Look at those. The knobs on this thing are amazing. Great toggles. Oh, are there more photos? Oh, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. Oh, there's the back. Always interested in the back. Whoop. There we go. Wow, that's a lot of inputs. Very cool. Sides. Nice. Nice. Did you get the black or the silver, man? Let us know in the chat. That's so cool. Hipster Cow coming in with a brand new piece of gear. So cool. Damn. 5 inputs. 13 volts RMS. That's good. That's going to drive a lot of gear. So cool, man. Congratulations to Hipster Cow for one hell of a preamp. Very nice. So good. Love that. Love that. Good to see. Good to see. Yeah, I'm not familiar with Black Ice Audio, but now I am. Grammy, Grammy, Grammy. Yeah, a lot of Grammy stuff. We did that. Ryan has the single-sided on order. C-Dub does. Is the Violectric V222 going to do things? Ryan says it should. I think we talked about the Violectric last week, but was it the 4 something Violectric? I don't know. I'm not familiar with Violectric's product line. I've never had him on the show, but I think he said Violectric is good to go. Ace Spade says, have a guy on HeadFi that is going to test his tungsten double-sided with the Quicksilver tube amp, hopefully this week. He needs to know before he looks at placing an order. Specs say 7 volts at 30 ohms. That should do it. That should do it. Ryan is running errands. He doesn't, at the moment, he doesn't want to take over the chat, but will answer questions periodically. Very good, Ryan. You run your errands, man. An amp that will drive the tungsten, Pass Labs HPA1. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Yeah, they're a little hungry, guys. They're just a little hungry. That's great. You're not too bright. Now you're too dark. I'm too much of everything, man. I'm just all over the place. Let's see where it is. I'm just going to go with it. Guys, I'm just going to go with it. I mean, how bad could I look? I mean, you got this chrome dome staring at you. I'm this close to just shaving it all off. And by the way, Marco, I can't tell you the number of times I've been told I'm not too bright. Hipster Cow says, cool. He looks forward to getting the F360 at some point, hopefully. It's a really cool device. I agree. That thing looks awesome, man. C-Dub, the V22, is good. That's what I thought he said. Ace of Spades, that would work if you listen quiet like ADDB. Oh, so it's a little under for the Pass Labs. Or is it the Pass Labs he was talking about? I don't know. I lost track, guys. Oh, Ace is talking about Quicksilver tube amp. Yeah, some tube amps are a little less punchy. They got to have the right tubes in them. IMJ says the contrast. I like the contrast he's at now. Still can make a sweatshirt out. Previously looked like an uncorrected log format. Well, you know, that is the style that people go for. I tend to grade the show more normal. I'm more natural. Neil Snyder loves Mini Pearl. Christopher Luckenbach here. Hey, everyone. Hey, cheers, Christopher. Good to see you. Mini Pearl. Yeah, I mean, what a great. He's so old, most of his music library is Lawrence Welk and Mantovani. I remember that, but I don't remember. I haven't listened to a lot of Mantovani, I gotta admit. Lawrence Welk I've heard many times. That beautiful polka sound. Minnie was on Hee-Haw. But terrific lady. Terrific lady. Spirited. IMJ. Christopher, cheers. N8 says he thought I would have known by now. What's up is also a way of saying hello. Well, you know, I'm old. As many of you know, I'm very old. Everybody, Neil Snyder says the S24 Ultra won't run Roon. Roon is working on a fix. What's the S24? Who makes it? No tax breaks for solar in California. A lot of that stuff is gone. A lot of that stuff is dried up. The state's broke. We're all going to hell here. I don't know. Yeah, I looked at it and I was like, I just can't make it. I would love, I love the idea. I love the concept, green environment, all that. And if that's what you're into and you want to, and you're, what you're going for is just to feel good about, helping the environment and not polluting and this and that, that's fine. I'm more pragmatic. It's got to make financial sense to me before I do it. And I guess maybe if I had an electric car or something, have an electric solar on the roof and then into a battery that could charge the car, okay, that's kind of cool. But it just seems the numbers are very expensive on solar still here. I need to see some better numbers. That's just my opinion. And then there are 20 people who tell me, every time I mention something like that, there are 20 people who tell me I'm dead wrong. That's fine. I actually have looked at hardcore numbers and what it would cost us, and I'm like, I can pay for a lot of electric bills, and that's provided that these things go as long as it's going to take for you don't have to replace them. Anyway. Broadcast audio quality on the Grammys is the worst. Such a shame. I wasn't listening to it on a good system. I was just listening to it on the TV speakers, and I couldn't make it out one way or the other. I did like the performances. I thought were kind of good. I loved seeing Joni Mitchell. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, it was fine. I thought overall it was a pretty good Grammys. We got good numbers, but before they go patting themselves on the back, I'd also remind them that most of the country was in bad weather on Sunday. So, and there aren't any new programs really to counter program it. So it's kind of was the only game in town on Sunday. So they were up 30%, but asterisks, Marco B says he remembers that garage sale price tag on Minnie's hat, which will sell in the director's garage sale starting next week. No. Oh, I also know that I have garage sale. It's got me like all the synapses came together. Audio 46 has a new shipment on the way that will be here tomorrow. But I'm going to do this double unboxing because I've been putting it off too long. The other thing I have to do is I have to do a full review still of the iFi signature, which I think is a really cool device, but I think where I left it was awfully expensive for what it brings to the table. Like you're really pushing into some very high-end amps at $3,200-ish. I'm like, if I'm looking at that, I'm going to look at a lot of other things too. It does offer a lot of features, but sound quality wise, I don't know. I'm like, you're pushing into like Burson / and then you add the amp to it if you want to get the amp so you can keep it in low gain, because the high gain mode on that thing is not good. And so if you want to keep it in low gain, you got to add the amp to it, and that's another $2,200. You're at $5,000, and now you're staring at like the likes of Hollow, a fully blown out system for Ferrum. Like you're getting into some really good, very high quality stuff there. So they've got to bring it, and I've got to do some. I would do some shootouts for sure. I should try to shoot out of that and like compare it to some other things and what I hear. Maybe I'll do that when I do the full review of that. But that's coming in the coming weeks. I also have to do a full-blown review of the Zale HM1. That's moving a little back in the sequence of things because I do want to move some stuff out of here. And all the people who said they were going to buy stuff bailed on me, but that's in part my fault. I thought I had sold the Bakoon 13R, but I think the guy's waiting on, like, I got to find out how much it's going to cost to ship it to Belgium, and I'm like, I just haven't had time. I mean, this has been, guys, I'm so busy right now. It's unbelievable. You know, I love doing the show, and I love making new shows, and I just been no time in the schedule for it. If I did, it would be just totally hacked together, and I don't want to do a show that's hacked together. That's not what this show does well, I think. The show does considered stuff. Joni Mitchell is 2 years younger than he. Loves her music, but sad to see her so infirm. Well, she had that, it was an aneurysm, like in 2013, I think, and she had to learn how to speak and play guitar again. She couldn't speak, and she, let alone sing. So to see her as she is, it's remarkable that she's singing at all. And you know, we've lost some great singers to age. Linda Ronstadt doesn't sing anymore because she contracted, I think it was ALS. Is that what it is? Or was it Parkinson's? But she has a disease. She can't sing anymore. You know, some great voices. Like, we just don't do it. And, you know, Paul McCartney's still singing, but his voice has gone. You know, I mean, it's not the voice it was even 10, 15 years ago. You know, it's just age, man. Like, the people that were idols back in that 1971 era, when music was just so crazy and interesting and changing, just isn't the same. I should move this over a little bit. Get a better look at you guys. But yeah, I mean, I'm a fan. Somebody razzed me because, like, Joni Mitchell, how can you recommend Joni Mitchell? And I'm like, Joni Mitchell is phenomenal. Like, you got to be in the right mood, but a beautiful folk singer-songwriter, yeah, hell yeah. I'm down with it. Get in the right mood. You know, oh, she's phenomenal. Phenomenal. Sings about, I mean, her songs are just gorgeous. Like, they paint pictures. It's beautiful. Bondum sold a Woo 23 on Head-Fi for $5,000 this past week. That guy was always selling crazy gear for amazing prices. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's kind of, well, I've tried to not sell it for crazy prices. I've tried to get something back for them to keep the show going, but, you know, I mean, I'm going to, if I really want to move that Bakoon, you know, or I want to move the Dan Clark Audio, prices are going to start falling because nobody's buying it and thought I had a pretty good price, but apparently not, because supply and demand, boys. That's how it works. If it's not moving, if there's no demand for it, the price is too high. A couple weeks too late. Yeah. Oh yeah, IMJ, because you got your 23R or your WA23. Too many numbers. We got to get. We need to work on how all this stuff is named, guys. It's just named screwy. Everything's got screwy names. So, like 33, 23, 13. What's going on? He's a solid guy, so it's definitely not a scam. Oh, we're talking about the 23. Would have jumped on it. Destroyed the Luna market. It's upgraded tubes. Wow, great deal. Black Ice is the rebrand of Jolita. Oh! Ace of Spades coming in with dropping the knowledge on me. I didn't know that. Jolita, if you guys don't know, Jolita made some of the, like, about 10 years ago, Jolita made some of the absolute coolest looking tube amps on the market. Like, their stuff was drool worthy. I always wanted a Jolita amp. I just never picked one up. I didn't know they rebrand themselves Black Ice. That's cool. That's a good piece of knowledge, and yeah, that's a hell of a piece of kit. Very cool for, it was a hipster cow, I think he said. What a pre, definitely advocate, a great pre-stage makes a difference, his cup of tea. Yeah, a good pre will just set you up for all kinds of success. If you go to, you know, if you have an amp like this one, the Zale, which admittedly is underpowered for its cost and its size and everything. If you have a decent pre before it, and you can push that voltage up, you bring an amp like the Zale right in line with what you want. because it'll drive almost anything at that point. You just got to feed a better signal into it, a stronger signal into it, I should say, a higher voltage signal. And you can do that with a pre. That's what the pre will do for you. The only thing is that you want a good quality pre, or you're taking this really high-end amp and you're feeding it something out of kind of a noisy preamp. You're amplifying the noise of the preamp along with it. So having a quality amp like this Black Ice Audio is a great idea for putting in the chain. Great idea, man. Good on you. And thanks Nephilim, for dropping that on me. I didn't know that. Chris NYC says, Hollow Bliss incoming tomorrow. Now to start chasing the tungsten. Hollow Bliss. I like the hollow audio stuff. I just haven't had it in a controlled environment. I heard it at Can Jam at the ZMF booth, and I was really impressed with it. I thought it was great. But I didn't, you don't know. You're at a show, so it could be anything. And I was in the ZMF room, which was like chaos. Zach got a lot of attention at Can Jam this year. That room was swamped with people. It was so cool. Chris NYC, oh, he did that. Timothy Egan says, what have you been using for your LCD4 since you sold the Ferrum? I've been alternating the LCD4 between, I still use the 13R, but I also have been using the Zale. The Zale works well with it, just fine. But I still have the 13R, which is great. It's a fine pairing. My bigger problem is what to do about the Abyss, because the Abyss isn't playing. I need to do a little listening time with the Woo and see if the tubes are doing good things to it. They should. I need more time. N8 says, come on, Mike, when are you going to get the Mass Kobo 465? The day I get divorced. Guess that's the day my wife is leaving me, when I spend 18 grand on an amp that will be worthless in 4 years. Michael's shirt reminds me of that Liam Gallagher's quote when he was speaking of his John Squire collaboration. He said, it's better than Revolver. Did he really? Oasis was, if you guys don't know, Oasis was like, everybody complained when Oasis came out saying, they're just a Beatles ripoff band. And while there were certain riffs, like She's Electric, the end of She's Electric, which is a direct lift off of the end of With a Little Help from My Friends, like note for note. And they did have similarities and stuff. I don't care if a band lifts ideas and what I mind is when a band lifts ideas and doesn't recognize, or we might have a Holly intrusion. Just saw his little face. He just woke up. I don't mind if a band borrows from other bands. I think that's how music evolves, and everything is an evolution of something else. There was I found an etymology piece on YouTube the other day where they were talking about, great song riffs that were lifted from other, Led Zeppelin just at will borrowed from old blues singers and often didn't credit them. All I want people to do is, if you're going to do that, then just credit it, or don't try to make it like you're not doing something you are. Like Greta Van Fleet, it's a Zeppelin style metal band, or hard rock band if you prefer, if you don't want to call them metal. And so I don't have a problem with Greta Van Fleet taking some of Zeppelin's riffs or sounds and doing their own thing with them. And if you go back and look at, there's videos on YouTube, unless they've been pulled down, of Greta Van Fleet when they were really just getting started, doing nothing but Zeppelin covers. So it's no surprise where they got their sound. And And Plant was at first put off by him, and I think he's sort of buried the hatchet about that since. But I think it's great that we're getting, that people are looking at that old stuff and saying, you know, that was really good. We should do stuff similar to that. I mean, Lenny Kravitz came, you know, he's a cross. He's got Stevie Wonder in his sound, and he's got John, not John Mayall, but the other one, the other John M. I'm thinking of from watching that doc. But I'm like, you look at, you just look at these great artists of today or of from 20 years ago even, like they borrowed stuff. Black Crowes borrowed all the time from the Rolling Stones. But they were their own thing, and their music is great, and it's fun to listen to. I don't take issue with that. I just don't like it when they we never even heard of that band. You know, it's like, come on, you know you have, you know. So yeah, you know, Oasis they were unabashed Beatles fans, and you know, but better than Revolver. This is the official from the Beatles site. I bought this when I bought the new release of Revolver. That was okay. Just okay. These remixes I go hot and cold on. Some of them sound really good, and some of them don't sound really good. I just heard the new version of Love Me Do, the Giles remix of Love Me Do. It is horrible. It is horrible. It doesn't sound like he ripped it into parts. It's just not good. It's not good. Not a good remix. That said, I have some of the other stuff I like. C-Dub says, by the time you get the solar panels and electric car, you'll have a forest fire or a mudslide. Yeah, exactly. On the house, covering the solar panels and pushing the car down the hill. Yeah, I don't know. You're probably right. Samsung S24 Ultra phone just released. Oh, okay. Well, I go with the iPhone simply because everything I have here is Apple, and it just talks to everything naturally. Not at the moment, though. At the moment, I can't get a photo to go from my phone to my laptop, and it used to just send it there. So I've got a setting somewhere inside I've got to tweak. But it's a little frustrating when you're first getting started out on this thing. It's only a couple days old. I do like the display. I don't like that it's literally twice as thick and twice as heavy as my old phone. That said, it's a little easier to snap photos on, and the camera is exceptional. They really worked on the camera in the 5 years since I bought the iPhone 11. Luddite. Okay, Nephilim Music Appreciation Gazpacho. They are a great atmospheric prog rock band hailing from Norway. Fans of Hogarth era and Marillion and Radiohead will be in heaven. Okay, I like Radiohead. I liked. I thought one of the worst albums I've ever heard. I'm going to get flamed for this. Was OK Computer. I thought OK Computer was a collection of sleepy songs pieced together with the most unimaginative what a computer might sound like sound effects. Have it on vinyl. I don't like it. I bought it on vinyl because I'm going to finally listen to this. I'm going to sit down and get a good copy of OK Computer, sit down and listen to it. I'm like, I hate this. I hate this record. Literally hate it. And I'm a Radiohead fan. I like Creep. I like all the other stuff. That album just didn't do it for me for whatever reason. But I'm like that. A lot of times I like the quirkier stuff. I like Zeppelin 3 as opposed to Zeppelin 4 and Zeppelin 2. I think Zeppelin 3 is more interesting to me. I liked Wilco. I like their earlier stuff. I like Summer Teeth. I like stuff like that. Hotel Yankee Foxtrot did not much for me. I didn't think that album was one of their best, and everybody considers that their best record for some reason. Anyway, Neil Snyder says he feeds his HM1 with the Cord Dave preamp, mates perfectly. Dave will output 9 volts, and HM1 accepts 10 volts without distortion. Runs this as far just great, and he's pretty deaf. That's great, man. Yeah, and I'm running it with no problem with the DCS stack. No problem on the HM1. Got to push it a little bit on the Mod House is a little tougher, but I can drive it fine. Mod House I think sounds a little better on the 13R personally, but you know, it all works. It all works, not bad. And I can get it plenty loud. There's no problem with loudness. IMJ says he's been trying to get a used Hollow-Made KTE, one on sale on HeadFi, but there's one person who responded to the ad sooner. Oh, well, that happens. Keep trying. We've all been there. Great to know Wanla puts out 9.3 volts, so maybe you just keep that when the HM1 comes. Yes, the Wanla will be just fine. And I think the DAC in the chain is less... I guess it's all important, but the amp is going to make a bigger impact on your sound chain. You know, the headphone makes the biggest difference. The amp makes a difference, and I think the digital stuff, it can, well, the biggest difference is like if you're like me and you're listening to a lot of MQA, you want an MQA decoder. So that's the thing for me with DACs. Like, it's got to decode the format that you're comfortable with. I once sold a DAC because it didn't play back DSD, and I didn't want to, and I turned down buying an amp. I think it was the Yggdrasil by shit, because it couldn't decode DSD. And I'm like, well, when a good portion of my music collection is DSD, why wouldn't I want an amp that natively decodes that DSD signal, right? You know, I don't want to do the whole down conversion in the chain. I'd rather keep it all DSD. Anyway, IMJ, we'll do a few more, and then it's not going to be a long thing today. I just don't have a lot to do, a lot to talk about today. And we are going to be on Saturday. Those of you jumping in late, Saturday, 9:30 a.m. I'll send the invites out tomorrow. And again, a reminder on Saturday, go over to the Patreon page if you want. I'm not pitching for anything. You don't have to come if you don't want. It's Saturday at 9:30 we do a Hangover Hangout, which is, it's like this, but it's on Zoom, so everybody can see everybody and everybody can talk to everybody. And it's been a lot of fun, and I dropped the price on it. If you just subscribe for $3, it's not, doesn't say so on the website, but just do it and I'll take care of you. $3 subscription will get you into the Hangover Hangout on Saturday. And anybody who has a more expensive subscription and you want to drop it down because it's, you know, not financially possible, just drop it down. No worry. As long as I've got enough people in now where it's paying for the Zoom part of it, and that's all I was trying to do, was cover the Zoom stuff. So there you go. Just curious where you can. Yes, Nephilim. What was that for? Yes. Just curious where you can find the spec stating how much voltage an amp will accept without distortion. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just taking somebody's word for it. I don't know that for a fact. On the HM1 may take more. I don't know. I know that I'm feeding it 6 volts and it's perfectly clean and terrific, and it's enough to drive the Mod House Tungsten easily. Pragmatic IF tax breaks apply. My electric bills have been much reduced. He is a mechanical engineer and did his own research on solar in his hometown of Brooklyn, and it works. Does not work for everybody. Yeah, Marco, I would, like I said, it's something that I would love to do. I just can't find a financial model. Like, when I put all the numbers together and consider all of there are some negatives to letting somebody drill holes in your roof to put the stuff in. They don't know what they're doing. My best friend has made a career out of fixing bad solar installations. Businesses, these guys come in, they drill holes, and they don't know how to properly weatherproof them. Joni's Blue is unapproachable. Marco V. Well, it's a female-oriented record. I love Joni Mitchell. I think it's great. John Mayer, love John Mayer. thought Abbey Road Remaster was good. I thought it was too. That was one of the better ones. But I also thought it was the most unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? Christopher, I like it was the one that was least needed because they mixed it properly for stereo. It wasn't one of the ones where all the vocals are over here and the bass and the drums are over here, and then the chorus would come in on this side. Like, that's the biggest annoyance with the early Beatles material, is that it's mastered that two-sided, so you're better off listening to the mono if you're going to listen to headphones. Or you're just going to have to deal with the bouncing back and forth on the side to side. And if you listen to Beatles engineers like Jeff Emmerich before he passed away, he'll tell you that the songs were mastered for mono. So listen, if you want the truest version of everything, listen to the mono. That's what they mastered them for. They didn't master them for stereo. The stereos came as an afterthought back then. But yeah, this, Abbey Road sounded great. I thought the remaster was good, but I also thought that it was the one that least needed it. Chris 2019 remaster from the box set. Yes, that's what I have. I have that, but I have like 20 copies of Abbey Road here. The best Beatles mixes are this blue box that I have. It's all in boxes back there. I haven't unpacked my record collection since we moved. It's in the future. I'm going to do it at some point, guys, but it's just not, it's not a financial priority. I need to build shelves for my records, and I don't have, it's not right there. Okay, computer was bad. Unsubscribing to you on Patreon. I didn't like it. I'm sorry. It's my opinion. My opinion isn't everything. It wasn't a record. It just didn't speak to me. I like their other stuff much better. Marco thought Blue was pretty good from Joni, but for the Roses is his go-to for her. Yeah, I love that record too. That's great. Wayne Hines says, Michael, have you listened to OTL tube amps? What are your thoughts on them? The only tube amp I have here is the 300B, which is not an OTL amp. So I don't know. My answer is no, I haven't listened to enough. Not enough to make a formed opinion. Like tubes, though, generally, like what I hear, and I'm a huge fan of tubes. I'm a huge fan of tubes. I like, but I also am a huge fan of solid state. I'll say that, too. Solid state amps can deliver stuff that, solid state can deliver stuff that tubes can't, and tubes can deliver a warmth that, to me, a warmth and a spaciousness that you don't get out of solid state. So it just depends on the music and whatever. But I haven't played enough around with tubes, and that is such a Pandora's box to get into. Like, once you start down the tube rabbit hole, I was there, boys. It's not easy to get out of. It's a current that takes you places. Ginger Hermit, MQA filed for bankruptcy and is going away. Well, it's not. That's not true. MQA did file for bankruptcy. They've been rescued. There's another company that bought them out. They're reviving it. And Tidal is going flack and slowly replacing MQA tracks. That's completely not true. They've said that. I won't deny that Tidal has said that they're going flack and slowly replacing their MQA tracks. The reality is they haven't. The stuff that was released this week is also released in MQA. You can go on Tidal right now. I can call up anything that was released this week, and it will be in MQA on Tidal. They have enough subscribers. Apparently, Tidal has decided, I have no knowledge of this, but Tidal has decided that they have enough subscribers that MQA still makes sense for them to put out. People like me who have MQA decoders, and honestly, like I've said, this is what I've said. I've said this a number of times on the show. MQA is lied about what they said their algorithm could do, and they were wrong. I firmly believe that they were wrong. That said, it still sounds really good. And having listened to thousands and thousands of tracks from different formats, I can't really tell the difference. Like, it's a good MQA track with an MQA decoder. You got to have that step in. MQA that gets like reconfigured and spit out in another format, you know, if you've got like one of those decoder things, yeah, does not sound as good. It definitely, I think it sounds not so good. But if you have the MQA decoder, it's actually impressive. And I'm like, yeah, 1,000 lashes to him for lying, or at least letting us believe one thing when it was another. But I also think that the blowback was overblown too. This is my opinion. I don't care. You know, listen. I always tell people, listen what you want. You know, if and I understand people are like anti-MQA and we're not going to go for it. You know, it's just for me. I've got an MQA decoder, and most of the stuff on Tidal comes in higher resolution in MQA. I'd rather listen to the higher resolution MQA than the lower resolution FLAC. And frankly, Roon just tells you what it's going to do anyway. You have to go through hoops with Roon to get it to play something that it doesn't consider best quality. But Roon, I just love the write-ups in Roon. I am addicted to those. You guys, if you guys don't have Roon with Tidal is like, it's so cool. You can go through the etymology very quickly of a song. Most of the titles they have, not all of them, but most of them, they have a credits tab, and you have to right-click and get the credits, and it will show you like all of the different musicians on the record. And it's really funny if you go and look at like Stevie Wonder's. If you go look at some of those mid early 70s Stevie Wonder's records, it'll say, you know, saxophone Stevie Wonder, drums Stevie Wonder, and bass Stevie Wonder. Like he played every instrument on the record. It was like that's why I say he has such a direct lineage to Lenny Kravitz, because Lenny Kravitz picked that up in the 90s, playing every single instrument on the record. It was so good. But anyway, I love that etymology, and you can go in and go, wow, these drums sound great. And then you click on it, it's like, oh, Ginger Baker sat in on this one. It's like, of course it sounds great. It's one of the greatest drummers in rock history. That's why this sounds so phenomenal. But I love that, being able to quickly see the links between musicians and artists. And then you can go on like, go on Wikipedia, and then you can, or Google or whatever, and you can find the story about, oh, this is why he was playing with this band at that time. Like, the band broke up and they stayed friends with this guy, and this guy called him up one day and said, hey, come on and play with us. And that's how it happened. It just, I love that stuff. The other thing I got to do one of these days, I got to get into the concert for Bangladesh. I want to like do a deep dive on that. I've had that record for years, and I've listened to it off and on, but I want to do a deep dive on how all that came together, because George Harrison, fresh out of the Beatles, puts together, really, it's like the first for charity concert. Like they had like Woodstock and this and that, but those were for profit. This was the first for charity concert, the first big one anyway, in New York City, and he managed to pull together all of this amazing talent. Ringo played drums, and John was involved, John Lennon was involved, Paul obviously was on the outs with everybody at the time, but this was another thing in the 1971 series. Guys, go watch that series. Seriously, that's your homework for tonight. Director's Garage homework. Go watch that 1971 series. It's so amazing. It's so cool. I love that thing, man. I love where it's going. I'm not even finished with it yet. I'm going to watch it when I get off the air after I do my walk, which I have to do very shortly. Very shortly. Ooh, exercise ring. Needs some help today. Okay, so let's get through the last few and we'll say goodbye for the day, for the week. Love the Blu-ray audio. Where did I leave off on this? Nephilim81 said, yeah, the 2019, it's pretty different at first, but he likes the stereo. I guess we're talking about, I think we're talking about Abbey Road again. Nephilim81, okay, love the Blu-ray audio. Oh, that must be Abbey Road. Okay, computer, pure Drek. Marco B. Yeah, it was not my favorite. I'll say that. I love Radiohead, though. I think they're great. And I had a friend of mine, one of the girls that I was teaching video to back in the 90s, who was just a crazy Radiohead fan, like went to every concert. It's nuts. And I'm like, then I listened to it, I'm like, this is what she was getting so hot and bothered about. I'm like, anyway, a bit mid-forward, but still good sound. I don't remember. I kind of lost track of what we're doing. I prefer hybrid tube amps over OTL. Tube world is deadly. Hang on to your wallet. Exactly. That's the problem. The Rune stuff. Yeah, Ginger. I have no dog in the hunt. I'm just like, I think the MQA thing is a little overplayed. I know that somebody got really famous because of it, and I wish him well, but you know, I think it was also oversold. Michael, I got just a Millard Hammond GZ34 equivalent, new old stock, and it's the bee's knees. I hate new old stock matters. I hate that new old stock matters. Yeah, I've got a pair of GZ34s from, I think it's Millard. It's Millard made all of the GZ34s, but then they got rebranded with different stamps. But I have a pair of metal bass from I think it was 57 or 56. And they're fabulous. I mean, they sound better, I think, than the Taketsukis that I have in there. The big, huge $1,200 Taketsukis. These tiny little GZ34s, I think, outperform them. But, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter. It all sounds good. Its playlist radio generator is stellar. I agree. Totally. I'll be honest with you guys, if you're talking about the playlist radio generator, Pandora, you know, I know it doesn't have the best sound quality, but Pandora, I can't tell you the number of times I'm in the yard and I just pull out my phone and plug in, you know, Louis Armstrong radio on Pandora. They do a great mix of songs. Love that. Ace of Spades got to run. Yeah, we're all going to wind down here. Ace of Spades, you're not going to miss much from here on out. We can all go home soon. But yeah, I agree. I also like I like the title too. Yeah, it's really good. And Rune too. Rune's great. I just think that we're in great territory. I mean, when you can walk around and I can call up any song, almost any song ever recorded like that. I mean, how great do we have it? I mean, you know, we were on the plane to Jamaica and one of the playoff games was on. Like, I was watching the playoff game on my phone. Like, that was the dream when we were kids. You couldn't even dream that up when we were kids. We were lucky we had a big old black and white set, you know, that my sister and I could fight over. Oh my God. To have the whole of broadcast television on your phone. Almost any movie, instantly you can call up on your phone now. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. What are we living in? What time are we living in, man? It's the best. It's really the best. IMJ says, Nephilim ain't that the truth. Looking to eventually upgrade his tubes to Takatsukis. Yeah, and I also have the Western Electrics here. I mean, I've got like probably $6 or $7 grand just in tubes in this house. Stupid, boys. Stupid stuff. By the sound of your gear, you can afford it. Nice point. Not the point. I love this back and forth. Talks 15 to $2 grand a shot. That is true caviar right there. Amen. Amen. It took me a long time to get to the talks, and I told you my Elrog situation. I bought the Elrog, it blew, and then they didn't honor a warranty on their less than 1 year old tube. that I bought for $1,300 or whatever it was. Oh, so mad. Like, not again. Love his Woo. Chance loves his Woo Mini DAC amp. There are limitations, but it's in the wheelhouse. In its wheelhouse, it's great. I'm hearing great things about it, Chance, and I auditioned it at Can Jam, and I thought it sounded nice too. Got a run, director. Fist bump. He missed titles curation. He thought it was good. Yes on Pandora. I agree with that. I agree with all of that. It's just we have the best time to be connoisseurs and curators of our own music. You can get anything almost instantly. It's just a great time. So with that, we're through the chat. I'm going to thank you guys for showing up for our happy hour hump day hangout here at the Director's Garage, the 4-H Club. I had a good time. I had a good time today. Kind of like less intense. We didn't have those barn-burning discussions like we normally do, but kind of nice to just hang out and chit-chat. I would recommend anybody go to that Apple thing and check out the 1971 documentary. It's really good. It's really well done, and it really puts music. It's given me a lot to think about where music evolved and where it fit into the culture. Remember, 1971, I was 4. I was 4 in 1971. I was born in 67. Really, I have no sense of what was going on at that time. You know what I mean? Like, I know from my history books and in recollection what all of that meant, but I didn't have like a working concept of, the government in 1971. I didn't even understand Vietnam. I don't much remember. I remember the moonshots, but I certainly don't remember landing on the moon the first time. I was 2. But I do remember some of the later moonshots. But I didn't remember, they put into context, like, where the culture was. We had people starving and we were pushing the moonshots. That's why we got out of the space business. The government did. So it's very interesting. And check out the We Are the World documentary. Good one, JTB. I got to watch that. I remember We Are the World much clearer because that was that was substantive. I was like 16 when that came out, 17, 18 maybe. I don't remember. But I have a new appreciation for that era of music and what was going on in the country, in both countries, Europe, in the UK and the US. I mean, it is, Western centric, the doc, and we could probably get a different perspective if we were looking at what was going on in, say, Japan at the time, or in some of these other countries. We always think of it in terms of our Western perspective. Or what was going on in Russia at the time, and what were they listening to, and how are they getting their music? That would be interesting to know sometime. Anyway, it's raining outside, I'm told, from my watch. So I'm going to go put up an umbrella over the house. And thank you guys for stopping by. Tip your waiters and waitresses. If you can stop by the Patreon Hangover Hangout on Saturday at 9:30 in the morning, please do. I promise. I don't think you're going to have a bad time. Everybody who's left there has had a really good time. We're going to do it again on Saturday at 9:30 in the morning, and I hope to see you guys there. I got special guests hopefully coming, maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, who knows. And until then, I will see you guys before you know it. All right, cheers, everybody. Thanks for stopping by today.